Morning, Thursday morning. Lovely morning. It's a bit different from yesterday afternoon when the rain was tipping down. Gorgeous day. So let's start the day with a gentle way to tune into our bodies, to have a little bit of a stretch after the night, and just to start to connect with core muscles and think about our posture. So what we'll do today is we'll do a bit of standing work. So we will do a little bit of balance work. So as it is a prenatal session, if you are following along and you are pregnant, do just be careful about standing on one leg. You don't need to bring the leg up very high at all. You may just want to barely float the foot away from the floor. So just be mindful if you are standing on one leg and you are in any stage of pregnancy, because your center of balance will have changed and things are going to feel different. But we'll do a little bit of balance work standing, a little bit of standing stretch as well. And then we're going to be going down onto our hands and knees and onto our knees as well to do some work for the legs. So by all means, if anyone's not comfortable kneeling and they need to just change their posture at any time, or maybe they just want to get off their knees and pop into a stretch, or pop onto your bottom or onto your back, then please feel free to do that. Okay, so let's have a nice non-slip surface, nice not too thick. So when you're doing balance work, if you're on very thick carpet, or if you've got one of those lovely yoga mats that's really lovely to lay on but it's quite thick, can make the balance work more difficult. So we're looking for a surface that isn't too thick and fluffy for the standing work. Okay, and just something comfortable for your knees when we're kneeling. So if you want to have any extra padding under your knees, you can always roll one end of your mat over, flip it over, or pop a towel or just a bit more padding under your knees if you want to. So just do make sure that you're comfortable. So let's go standing. We'll start with our legs underneath us in our classic stance, and then we're going to go wide as well. So let's hop on up. Okay folks, so let's pop ourselves tall, and if we take feet directly underneath us to start with, so your classic Pilates setup posture when you're standing. So have a little look down, draw your line across your big toes, and then draw your line from those hips down through the center of your knee into that second toe as well, so we're nice and square. Maybe a little bit of a play through the ankles, so maybe just lift up onto your toes, maybe without body weight, or maybe actually coming up and pedaling through with a little bit of body weight. And then just settle those feet into the floor. Lift and spread your toes as well. And then if we soften our knees a touch, just so that they're not locked backwards, and then gently just start to think about bringing that tailbone underneath us, so that the tailbone points down to the floor. So particularly important if you have got a bump, especially if it's getting quite big, because the weight of that bump, baby now weighs over 2 kilos, so that 2 kilos is going to be pulling my pelvis forwards and compressing the discs in my lower back. So if I'm not mindful to keep that tailbone tipped underneath me, tucked under, I'm going to be getting lower back pain. So just remember how much this bump weighs, and we don't want that pulling us forward. So tucking that tailbone, starting to think about belly button drawing into spine. So if there's a baby in there, just think about keep having a little hug, so giving your baby a hug with your tummy muscles. And then lifting up a little bit higher, just open the chest and drop those shoulders right down. So lots of space between the ears and the shoulders here. Relax them down. So let's keep lovely and tall through the spine as you just sink that chin down. And then just take a little bit of a peek up to look at the ceiling, just gently. And then take a little bit of a dip of your chin. And then peek up again towards that ceiling, and then just take that chin on down again, pausing it there. Let that head have a little rock and roll side to side. Just roll out the back of the neck, give it a little bit of a massage. And then gently bring your head back up on top. Tweak a bit taller if you can as you stand. Over you go to the right side, do a little look over the shoulder. Back through the centre, you're going a bit taller. And then over left. And then just come back centre and the right ear drop. So nice and heavy. Take a little breath there, enjoy that stretch. And then just a little tick-tock over to the other side. Heavy old head, let it stretch through the side of the neck. And then just come on up and drop your chin just one more time to even yourself up. And then pop that head back up on top. So if you take your right arm all the way up above you, think about dropping this left shoulder down, stabilise that pelvis and just find a lovely bit of side extension just over towards that left side. And then come back to the centre and again, so over you go. So opening up through the side of the rib cage on that right side. And then just do one more of those. So over you go. I want you to pause there. Soften your knees a touch. And we're going to sweep down in a nice big circle. So if you sweep the arm down, just going as low as you want to. Remember, if there's a bump in the way, we're not going to be able to get as low. Come right over the top and then sweep down again. So soften your knees all the way up and over. Lovely. And then just release that one down. If you take the left one up, drop that right shoulder down. So drop it away from your ear first. And then just find that nice side extension. So imagine this rib cage is kind of like an accordion. And we're just trying to open it up without pushing the hip away. Come back to the centre. So just gentle opening through the side of the rib cage. Come on back. Let's go over and pause there. And then if you soften your knees a touch, go around in that nice big circle again. As far as feels comfortable. And then if you go around one more time, so round we go. Lovely. And then just lose your arm all the way back down to your side. We're going to bring the arms up in front, shoulder height, and then just bring them back down again. Keeping your shoulders lovely and low as you lift. So we're just going to inhale up through the nose, exhale away through the mouth. And again, if you come on up, and then the next time, let's add a bend on the knees and take it down towards the floor. So if we come on up, let's have a little swing on down. Just as low as you feel you want to go. So I'm not going to get anywhere near that floor now because baby's getting to the point where he's quite big and bending over just feels uncomfortable and feels odd. So don't worry if we're not going too low. Sweep the arms back down and then have a couple of nice shoulder rolls just to replace those shoulders. Do that again. And then relax those shoulders back and down. Let's just come through that one more time. So if you go right arm up, drop the left shoulder, over you go on your exhale breath. Inhale back to center. Exhale again a little bit further. Come back to center. This time we hold it over. Soften our knees, round we go. Nice big circle, just as low as you feel you want to go. And then round you go again. Keep those knees nice and soft. And then lose the arm down. In the middle, have a float of the arms. And exhale down. Now let's add a little bit of a swing. So down you go. Bending those knees. Just one more. Bring those arms on back down. Roll the shoulders back. Left arm comes on up. Inhale, breath. Exhale over. Come back to center. Over you go again. Sorry, excuse my burping. That seems to be happening quite a lot in these last few weeks. And then over you go again. Pausing there. Soften the knees, around we go. And then again, if you go one more time. Pause at the top. Lose the arm down. Sweep the arms in front. bring them back down, and let's do 2 with the little knee bend. So coming on up, bending. Let's do that one more time. Float the arms down, and then a big roll of the shoulders back. Do that one more time for luck. So roll those shoulders and release those shoulders there. Lovely. So let's go weight into your right foot. So have a little pedal through, and then think about sending your weight down into your right foot. So right leg is now like the roots of your tree. So here's your trunk, and then the leg down into the floor is your roots of your tree. Let's draw the belly button to the spine. So give baby a hug if baby's in there. And let's bring that left knee just up away from the floor. So toes are going to come up. So remember, they don't have to go very high at all. Maybe it might just float away from the floor. So just coming on up. Arms wherever they feel like they're helping you out with the balance a little bit. Keep staring at something that isn't moving. So I'm looking at a little ornament on the windowsill here and just eyeballing it, staring. So it's about at my eye line. Let's just do 2 more. Lovely. And just 1 more. And pause it there. I want you to bring that knee up, rotate that hip around, and then settle that foot back down into the floor. Take the weight into the left side. Imagine the roots of your tree coming down, and draw that belly button lovely and tightly in towards that spine. Relax those arms, and let's come up on that right one. Find your little spot to look at. Arms wherever you want to keep them, wherever helps with your balance. Keep drawing that belly button in, hugging baby if baby's there. Good. Try and keep that breath. Keep breathing, so try not to hold that breath. Lovely. So let's do 2 more. We want to try and exhale on the left. So we're going to do 1 more of those. So if you come on up. Lovely. And let's lift and rotate the hip. And then pop down into the floor. Super. If you go wide, so as if you were going to do a big plie. So that means we want a wide base with our toes out to the corners and our knees pointing in the same direction as our toes. So I want you just to soften into the knees. Tailbone is still tucked underneath us. And those arms, we're going to have a little bend and sweep on up. And then just exhale them down. And again, come on up. And just exhale them down. Twice more, so come on up. Exhale down. Do 1 more time, so come on up. And then I want you to drop to the bottom. So sit into that little plie and just draw those shoulders back and check the tailbone is under belly button, just engaged. I want you to bring your right heel away from the floor without anything moving through the pelvis. So this part of our body stays absolutely still. Replace that right one. Peel your left one as gently as you can, so without disturbing any other part of your body, and then come down. So right one comes up again, and then right one comes down. So left one, let's peel up again, and down. Lovely. So right one again. Maybe you can sink a little bit lower in that plie, and then come down. So left one coming on up, and down. So let's have the right one coming on up. Lovely. And then 1 more time on the left. So peel that left one up and then settle it back down. See if you can just drop a little bit lower and bring your arms out half mast for me. I want you to imagine that you're sweeping your arms in front, keeping the spine tall, and then opening back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. So just come forward, open the upper back. Keep sitting lovely and low into that plie. We're going to do twice more, so come around. You're feeling the inner thighs now. Squeeze. Let's just do 1 more. So forwards, come on back, and relax your arms. Well done. So let's straighten on up. Let's bring the feet in. A little bit of a shake if it feels like it wants it. And then we're going to be going down onto our knees, so a high knee. So let's pop ourselves down, however you're comfortable doing that. Okay, so pop yourself down onto high knee. Oh, excuse me. So let's come forwards a little bit. I'm just going to come forwards a bit more in the centre of the screen. And then we're going to come up onto that high knee. So we're going to come up, 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 up. And when we do get up, we want to again tuck that tailbone underneath us. So if you've got quite an arch in your back, if you have got a pregnancy bump that's tipping that pelvis forwards, you might find that that bottom just wants to stick out the back, tailbone escaping. So we want to draw it back underneath us again, okay? So keep that belly button engaged and keep that tailbone tucked under. The movement now is going to come from the knee, so we're working into the thigh rock back. What I don't want you to do is extend back from the lower back. So the movement comes from the knees. Imagine you've got a plank of wood all the way through your body, so you can't flex back from the lower back. Now the movement has to start from down at the knee. Belly button is tight. I'm coming back just a couple of degrees. I can feel the front of my thighs tighten up, and then I'm coming back up. So you can see that that movement originates down at my knee. I'm not changing the angle of my spine at all. So I'm not flexing back from the lower back. It's just going to give me backache. So we're working the thighs. I want you to hug that baby or that belly tighter as you come on back, and give your bottom a little squeeze as well. Doesn't have to be a very big movement at all. Keep the shoulders low. Lovely. So if we do 2 more of those. Belly button is tight. Let's just do 1 more of those. And then just come on back up. Lovely. Sink yourself down onto your heels. And I'm just going to bring myself back into the centre of that screen now. I might have to wiggle back a little bit because we're going to go into Superman. So I'm just making sure Sofa's out of the way. Before we do, let's just roll the spine up through cat and cow. So let's start to arch on up into cat, and then arch down into cow. So hollow spine, rolling up into cat, and then dropping down into cow. Just do that 1 more time. So roll on up, and then come on down. And then if you just come back up to a neutral spine, so a nice flat back. So we've drawn the belly button up into the spine, and we've lifted between the shoulder blades as well. Knees are directly under our hips. So we're going to go right arm and left leg, and then we'll take a slow change. Keep that belly button lovely and tight. Keeping it super controlled as we come in and change sides. So as you change sides, we want there to be as little transfer of movement and body weight as possible. Only lifting as high as shoulders and hips. So if you lift your leg higher than your hip, or you start to lift your arm higher than your shoulder, and you start to look ahead of you instead of down, then your spine is forced to hollow. So it's got no choice but to hollow. There's nowhere else for it to go. And then of course we're losing our neutral spine. So let's do 1 more with this left arm. And then pausing here. I want you to take your knees wide and just sit back into your child's pose. So you might be getting down close to the floor. Now that my belly's quite big, my bottom doesn't even go anywhere near the floor now. So excuse me sticking my bum up in the air. And then when you're ready, just come back up onto your hands and your knees. And we're going to go into 1 more set of those thigh rock backs again. So come on up tuck that tailbone under and give that belly button a draw through. So give baby a hug. Drop your shoulder blades back and down. Inhale to prepare, exhale as we rock. Remember that the movement isn't coming from the lower back, it's coming from down at those knees. Lovely, draw that belly button in. So you should feel the quadriceps around the front of your thigh tightening up as you're moving back. So let's do 2 more of these. So we'll do 2 more. And let's just do 1 more. So back you go. Lovely, come on up tall. And then just sink your weight down, super. Now we're gonna pop onto our backs. We're not gonna be staying on our backs for long because it's not a great position for pregnant people. But we're just to take some lower back stretches. So if you give yourself a little spin, down onto the floor, however is comfortable for you. So for me, it's not very elegant at all to try and get down onto my elbows and then down. Okay, so folks, come out like a T-shape with your arms. Let's come up onto tiptoes, glue your knees together, and let's have that little bit of a rock side to side. So just rolling across that lower back, see how that feels. Maybe making it a little bit bigger as you go. And then as you get to the right hand side next time, if you're happy to, allow those knees to flop on over into the floor, and let's just relax there in that spine twist. Turn your head to look left. And then if we come back up through the centre, flop on down. Over you go left. Turn to look right and just enjoy that there. And then just bring that head back up to centre and release there. Relax those arms down. And I want us to think about working the pelvis now. So using that pelvic tilt while we're lying here on the floor. Inhale breath to prepare. I want you to exhale and tip your pelvis back into the floor. So imprint that lower spine. And then as you release, we can inhale. Don't release too far. Don't let that big gap come up underneath that low spine. I just want you to feel that movement in the pelvis, that rocking back. Lovely. So let's just do 1 more of these and then come back to neutral. So down it goes. And then we're back here in our neutral spine. If you just relax those arms down by your side, let's creep our feet a little bit closer into our bottom, and we're going to roll up through shoulder bridge. Let's just keep our arms on the floor. So let's again tip the pelvis back, peel on up, give your bottom a squeeze, and then roll that spine down. So a lovely fluid action, really nice fluid action. Roll on up, and then roll on down. Lovely, let's just do 2 more of those. Just taking care that we don't over roll on the way back. Lovely, let's just do 1 more of those then. So roll on up, and then come back down into the floor. Step those feet a bit wider, so out wide with your mat. Come up halfway, and then just come over to the side, right side, through the centre, over to the left. And 1 more time, incorporating the head, so looking away from the legs, and change. And then coming back to centre and relaxing those arms. Now pop yourself onto your side to push up, or roll yourself up like a little ball. And we're going to go back onto hands and knees for one more set of our Superman to get us off our backs. So let's just come back onto hands and knees. So squaring ourselves up again. Let's draw that belly button up. And let's lift up between those shoulder blades again. So we're lovely and square. I'm just going to wiggle back. I can see I'm a bit too far out the front of the screen. So let's take right arm, left leg. So for me, the sofa's in the way, so I'm going to have to keep my knee bent. As little movement as possible as you change sides. And keeping that belly button drawn up. So as you stretch away, it's quite common to see people dropping their belly and allowing the spine to hollow. And that's normally accompanied with the head looking up and forwards. So we want to keep that head looking down into the floor. So let's do one more each way. So one more left side. And then let's pause there. Take those knees wide and just sit down a bit for that lower back. Staying high if you need to, or going nice and close to the floor if you can. And then last time, come back on up, cat and cow. Rolling on up, cat. Dropping down, cow. Rolling on up, cat. Coming on down, cow. And then just do that one more time here to finish us up. Come on up. And rolling down, cow. And then just come back into neutral spine before you sit back onto those heels. Lovely. So let's bring ourselves up into a roll up through the spine to finish. If you've got a bump, you'll see that I'm going to have to put my knees out to the side, but keep them tucked underneath you if that's comfortable for you. So we come on up. My knees are going to be out to the side because there's nowhere else for them to go. But ideally we'll have those knees forwards if we haven't got pregnancy bump. So up we go. So rolling ourselves back up. Use those hands to help you if you want to, and take the shoulders back a couple of times. And just release them there. Just bringing ourselves back to front and just checking that that tailbone has again come under and that belly button is tucked in, and we're lifting ourselves lovely and tall. Just take an inhale breath and an exhale breath. Just do that one more time, so just come up tall and exhale down. Lovely. Last one, so the hands come together at the top as we sign off. Let's come on down and easy there. Lovely. Well done, folks. So we've woken ourselves up for the day, got our spine moving and mobilized, and we are ready to hit the rest of the day, whatever that brings for us. So I will see you guys on Monday morning. So take care of yourselves, enjoy the weekend, take care of baby bumps, and I will see you then.